So let's examine the vocabulary and grammar in Chapter 2 of A History of the World in 10.5 Chapters by Julian Barnes. Each chapter is a story in itself, and so you will see that Chapter 2 is not related really to Chapter 1, and you can read Chapter 2 without reading Chapter 1, and so this story should make sense even if you haven't bothered with Chapter 1. So it's called The Visitors, and it starts with Franklin Hughes had come on board an hour earlier to extend some necessary bonhomie towards those who would make his job easier over the next 20 days. Now, just looking at this sentence, straight away we see this on board, and I wanted to point out that in these prepositional phrases like in danger, on board, by car, by train, we have very countable nouns. Yeah, normally you do say a board, and you certainly must do whenever you mean like a wooden board or something like that, a board of wood, or a whiteboard or a blackboard. They're very countable nouns. But when you use the prepositional phrase on board and you mean on a ship, on a boat, notice that the article disappears and you just say on board. You also say overboard for when a person falls off the boat or off the ship. And I want you to remember this, that in prepositional phrases, yeah, in danger, by car, on purpose, by accident, I can think of lots where a countable noun becomes very uncountable, and it's just in these prepositional phrases where the meaning changes. You know, a board or a whiteboard or a blackboard, they have nothing to do with on board, meaning on a boat. Okay, and so just something to remember, that in prepositional phrases the articles are often missing. Yeah, think of by car, by train, by plane. You would normally expect there to be an article there, but you just don't in those prepositional phrases. So second thing to notice in this sentence, he wanted to extend some necessary bonhomie. That means goodwill or friendliness. Yeah, he wanted to be friendly to those who would make, towards those, to those who would make his job easier over the next 20 days. And notice that is a preposition, towards, and then those who would make his job easier over the next 20 days is telling you towards who he's going to show this friendliness. So now he leaned on the rail and watched the passengers climb the gangway. Yeah, and a gangway is a type of passageway, like a corridor, but it just means that, like a corridor. I think of it as the stairs that are leading up onto the boat so that the passengers can go on board. Yeah, you know, there's usually a staircase or something like that there with rails on both sides. Yeah, rails so that you can hold on to something. So the passengers, he's now going to describe them after this colon. Middle-aged and elderly couples for the most part. Some bearing an obvious stamp of nationality. Okay, so some bearing an obvious stamp of nationality. So some are clearly from certain countries. Others, more decorous, preserving for the moment a sly anonymity of origin. Okay, so you can tell where some of the passengers come from, but others you can't.